Hi, you guys. Hope everybody's doing okay or better than okay. I hope everybody's doing fabulous. I know I'm doing pretty good. I'm feeling good. Okay, so these are so cool. I'm really excited about these. I don't even know what I'm calling these things, but they're not journals. I mean, they're kind of journals, but not really. Like, okay, I'm going to show you what they are. But first, I just want to tell you, I have I have had so much fun putting these together. Seriously, they're just when you see what's in them and I talk to you about what's going on with these, you'll understand. But these are basically like embellishment or tag collections. Okay, maybe I'll call them a collection, embellishment collection or something like that. I don't want to say it's a kit or anything like that because it's really not. It's sort of a faux flow or a flowish type journal idea. So basically the whole entire thing is going to be usable or consumable. And so you could use every single piece of this in your other journals if you want to, or you can continue to use it as basically a storage vessel or whatever for your tags and other embellishments and stuff like that. Or you could just leave it the way it is and call it a journal, and you could maybe even stitch some more pages into it or something. I don't know. But I put a lot of stuff in each one of these, and I put a lot of heart and soul into each one too. So I hope you guys like them. I really do, because I think they're all the way cool. So basically, they started out with my new obsession for collaging and making paper tags and layering and that kind of stuff. I've kind of always loved doing that. I just kind of got like a boost of inspiration recently from a couple of different people, but mostly from Rachel at Roxy Creations. And I also have a haul that I want to show you of some fabric that I got from her just today. So, and then also another Happy Mail that I got. So, I think I was gonna just list. I've got 12 of these guys, and so I was gonna just say, all right, I've got 12, and then I would, if you want one, I would just send you one. But I feel like each one is really special, and each one is a little bit different. And so I'm going to go ahead and list them all individually so that, as you're looking at them, on the shop, you can see 10 pictures of what's in each one. So I am totally happy to put the work in to do that. And do that. So, okay. So basically these are like an embellishment pack, or, I don't even know what to call them, but I'll figure it out before I list them. All right. So I'll go through a couple of them and just show you, what's in each one. And then what I'll do is I'll give you like a little bit of a close-up of each one so you can get a better idea of what each one looks like up close, okay? Because there are some subtle differences. Some not so subtle. Okay, so first of all, the covers are made out of some very large book pages that I have. It's one of those, it's called Page One. It's like the front page of the Los Angeles Times newspaper, like vintage newspapers. And so I tore out like 3 sheets, 3 pages, and I didn't glue them together, but I did stitch them together and made the cover out of like a triple thickness of that book paper. So it's just like newsprint, And then I made a pocket page that I'll show you out of an oversized, it's an atlas, but it had some really cool oversized pages. And so I used those to make the pocket pages. And then I used some pretty large sheet music to make the large envelope that's inside too, and it's stitched in. So it's basically, it's like a single signature type of thing with really only like 4 pages, you know, or 5 pages or something. I don't know. You'll see what I mean. So each one is either bound together or tied together like a closure, you know, with either some vintage lace trim or a strip of this fabric roll that I have. I made a rug a long time ago, maybe 20 years ago, out of strips of cotton fabric that I, you know, had attached together and crocheted. So I had this crocheted rug that just kind of started falling apart, and it was always used as like a cushion on a bench. It wasn't actually used as a rug ever. It was always used as like a cushion because it was real thick. So anyway, so it's falling apart. So I've taken it apart for the most part, and I've just been rolling it up and saving it and using it in my projects, you know, because it's cool fabric. So either lace trim or a piece of that crocheted rug. So and the closure is not attached to the book. It's just tied around. Whoops. That old guy came off. It just, so, okay, so this kind of leads me to the next little addition. So each one of these has a little fabric bow that I made, and it's just attached to a piece of snippet roll that I cut off of my big snippet roll that's probably 20 feet long. No, it's not that long. Maybe 12 feet long. Anyway, so I cut off like 3 or 4 inches of my big snippet roll that's kind of like vintage style, I guess. And I'm including a chunk of that on each one of these. And so I used just a little bulb pin to attach one of those little bows that I made. I've kind of gotten addicted to making them. I have them in like all different sizes and stuff, and they're really fun to make out of different types of fabric. And then I made a bunch of little ruffles, some with some like little like satiny type of fabrics, and just all kinds of you know, strips and scraps of fabric that I had, and I ironed them. For most of them I ironed, so they're kind of flat, a little bit easier to deal with. And then I've had these that I made up a long time ago, these art tiles. So basically what these are, each one, it has a postage stamp tile, and then it has like a collage tile, okay? And they're attached together with like a couple of jump rings, okay? And then they're just each on like a, I don't know, like a 4-inch chain with a pretty large jump ring at the other end. And, you know, I thought these would be really cute, like to hang from your rearview mirror, or from like a lamp pull, or a dresser drawer knob or something, or whatever. And so, or you could completely take this thing apart and use these, you know, 2 tiles in some other projects or whatever. So, so anyway, so I attached one of those onto the snippet as well. So like I said, like every part of this is basically consumable. Like, you know, you could use this for, you know, other projects. And so then I also included some tea bags. These are just white tea bags that you could coffee dye or tea dye, and in 4 different sizes. So I just did one of each size, okay? And so these are super cute. And I am actually going to be selling these in my shop very soon, as well as the bulb pens. I've got a few different base metal colors of these that I'm going to be offering. I think I'm going to actually open another shop, maybe, for supplies. I'm thinking that might be the direction I go. That's kind of the recommendation from a lot of people in the Etsy community is, you know, kind of keep your shop streamlined. And, you know, if you're offering different types of things, just open another shop. So I might do that. I don't know. Anyway, so that leads us to the cover. And so you can see it's the Los Angeles Times. it's not the actual newspaper, but it's from a book, right? So there's a big pocket on the front, on the inside front cover. And then I included a couple pieces of ephemera from a big box of ephemera that I purchased a long time ago. And then a page or two from this, it's a Culpepper's Herbal Handbook or something. I can't remember the title of it. But I completely disassembled the book, and I coffee dyed the whole, all the pages. So, and I have a big stack of them. So I put one of those in each one of these, and then some of that, and then that ephemera right there in the front. And the ephemera in each one is going to be totally different. Most of them are like electric bills and stuff like that from like the 60s. So, and then there's a couple of tags. Now, each one has the same number of tags. They're all going to be different sizes though, okay? But as far as like completely finished, where there's some type of fabric or, twine or something like that attached, and actually like done. There's some that are like halfway done that are in here, so you'll see what I mean in a second. So I think there's 8 completely finished tags, which of course you could like add to them or whatever if you wanted to, but I'm just saying as far as in my head, they're done. So I think there's 8 total, different sizes. And then I have a whole bunch of those 5-ring binder books that I am going to be completing, going to be making into journals here pretty soon, because I finally found a hole punch, paper punch that will do the 5 holes, so all at once. It wasn't even hard to find. They have them on Amazon, guys. Anyway, so I took a couple of the dividers out of the, I took dividers out of all of them, and I'm using them for different things. But so there's one that's just folded in half from this sewing book, and then there's another one from one of the cookbooks. And the cookbook ones, for some reason, I cut them in half. I don't know. I kind of regret doing that now, but it's really nice paper, and it's super cool, like vintage tag material, right? So this is kind of like there's some completed stuff in here, and then there's also project stuff. So, okay, and then some more tags. So some of these are going to have like a recipe card that I stitched some fabric onto. Others are going to have like a vintage field guide book, either from like a wildflower book or a butterfly book or bird book or something like that. So each one has at least one of those that's like finished with the, layered fabric on it. And then another just random square layered tag, and some other, a lot of the tags have images stitched onto them. Some do, some don't. They're all different. And, I was making them just to make them because they're just super fun. And plus I get to play with glue and my sewing machine. So anyways, and then at one point I had pulled out a whole bunch of book pages that weren't necessarily going to be, useful for using as pages in books and stuff. And this is before I started doing all this decoupage and collaging and stuff. Anyway, so I got out all my punches one day, and I punched out a whole bunch of different shapes, and I just have them in this little box. And so I added a little bundle of those to a glassine envelope, and I stuck that in a little pocket there. And then there's another glassine envelope that's going to have some playing cards, and I put a vintage flashcard in each one. Now, the idea with this is that you could use this as a tag, right? Like, you could do some stitching on it, or you could gesso it, or you could, whatever you want to do with it. But I just wanted to add some materials into this that you could use to either embellish other tags or further embellish this little book or whatever, I just wanted to give you a bunch of like supplies in here. So materials. And then I took some of that Tim Holtz wallpaper paper that everybody's in love with right now, including myself. And these are just a bunch of scraps from tags that I've made out of that paper. And so these are great for collage. I love those vintage wallpaper images or patterns. Oh, and so then the card, so I did a Peter Rabbit playing card, and then some other type of like floral vintage playing card, and then the flash card, and then one of these cards, which I don't even know what these are, but I think they're from some kind of game or something. But each one has one of those cards too, because I just think that's a really cool like card back. All right. So those go into this old glassine envelope that was obviously used by a stamp collector at some point, but these are really old glassine envelopes. So that's clipped onto the envelope that's stitched into the book. And then I filled it with some other tags, you know, like this is one of the ones that I would say is like halfway finished, right? For you, it might be completely finished, and you could use this for any number of things in your journals. It has a little word stitched in. It says curious right there. But they're all different. Some of them have words stitched in, some don't. Some have postage stamps, some don't. So these are just pieces of book paper that have been glued together to a thickness that would make it usable as a tag in a journal. And then this is some more of that. This is actually, you know, obviously music paper. I think I glued 2 layers together, and then I did some collaging on the top of that, and then cut that big sheet, you know, because those are pretty big pages, and then I cut that down into smaller sizes. And then I did add a couple of the card catalog cards into each one. And then these are some tea-dyed, this is actually watercolor paper that I had cut down to different sizes, added eyelets to them, and I was embellishing these and stuff at one point, and then I kind of lost steam on them, but I still have all these tags, so I thought, I'm going to put them in this book. And then you could finish them. You could do whatever you want on those. Okay, so that is the center envelope, and that is made, it's made out of a double layer of sheet music, not glued together. Okay, so it's 2 pages of sheet music, not glued together, but just stitched up the sides. So you could take that apart and you could use this book paper for something too. Okay, and then in the back of the pocket, or the second page of, you know, of pockets, I added a couple of layaway tags. And then, you know, another tag that's finished and collaged. And then each journal or each book or folder or whatever is going to have like a little envelope tag that I made. Okay, so these are made out of like an expandable file. And then I did some collaging on the front and then just stitched it up both sides to make it a little, you could use it as like a floating envelope or a floating pocket or whatever. And then I took a bunch of vintage postage stamps and filled up some little tiny glassine envelopes to put into each one of these collections. And that's just, well, hang on a second. There we go. Okay. And then in the back, this is the back of, this would be like the 4th or 5th page. There's just some more tags. Some are finished, some are halfway finished. I used a whole bunch of my like really fragile sewing patterns, and I had, you know, decoupaged those onto some heavier paper at one point, just mostly just to save them, just so that they wouldn't completely disintegrate, because they're really, really old. And the more they got handled, the more they like started crumbling. So I wound up using a lot of that on some of these tags. So those are super cute. Lots of sewing ephemera kind of scattered throughout all of these. And then some more little tags. This could be like a little corner tuck spot, you know. And this does have a little thing stitched in there. It says use your wings. And then here's a little tag that I would say is like half finished, right? It's like, it could use more embellishing or not. It's, you know, it's up to you. Okay. And then, lastly, at the back of the book, I added a field guide, a page from this field guide that. I cannot remember the name of it, but it was obviously like a wildflower field guide. It's a European book, so it came from the UK. And then a handwritten recipe card, obviously been used and well loved. And then another recipe that was in the recipe box that I got these in. And it's in one of those little slip covers. It's like a little thin plastic slip cover. And then a little strip of ration stamps in each one of these little bundles. Another page from one of the field guides, one of the really old field guides, either, you know, flowers or butterflies or birds or something. And then a piece from a Dr. Seuss dictionary. And then some vintage advertising from a ladies' home journal. And yeah, so that's all just paper clipped on the back here. And if you wanted to, you could even, you know, kind of make this into some additional little pockets, you know, because like I said, those did not get glued together. So so it's almost like a little faux flow journal or flowish journal, you know, because it is completely consumable. Or, you know, you could even add more collaging onto different elements of it and make it a lot more permanent, you know. I made these with the idea that they would be disassembled, but you know, you wouldn't have to. But you could also add like some tip-ins and stuff like that and like add more pages to this if you wanted to. This is stitched together on my sewing machine, so it doesn't have, you know, you can't like untie it or anything. But anyway, so you could definitely add more to this if you wanted to. So, and then on the front of each one, I used some of like oversized paper flowers and some sort of messy, fussy cut birds from a vintage bird book on each one. So, yeah. All right, so that's, I'm going to call this one Inspire. And I'm just mainly going on whatever it says on this tag. Hopefully they all have something on them. So that's how I'm going to identify them in my shop. So this one will be called Inspire. Okay. And then this one we will call Peace, Happiness, and Love, because that's what it says on the tag. So this one actually has a lace trim closure, and then the little, oh my gosh, ruffle, and then a little bow made out of some satin, and all the other goodies on the piece of snippet roll. So inside, it's, you know, it's basically the same type of stuff, okay? Each one of the covers obviously is going to be different with a different bird image, but each one does have a bird image on it. So that one's, yeah, Peace, Happiness, and Love. And these are, the collaging that I did is actually with matte Mod Podge, so it's not really, you know, it's not sticky like the glossy stuff is. So, and that actually did make this page, the cover, a lot more like durable. So this one is Collector of Memories. I'll let you guys see the cover. So I love those birds. And then here's the little tags. The little bow, and then a little ruffle. And those are all just attached with a bulb pin. So, same stuff on the inside. Very, very, very similar. Okay. And this one would be Smile, Laugh, Inspire. And I think this is some trim that I got from Judy Gillette. Pretty sure it's messy. Oh, I forgot. I put this one. I attached the pin onto the trim, or onto the tie on this one. Let me pin it onto the snippet real quick. Okay. So there's the tags and the ruffle and the little bow on this one. And then here's the cover. Here's the bird. It was hiding underneath the snippet roll. So yeah, very similar, but you'll see pictures of each one of these in the listings. So 10 pictures. And obviously if you have any questions or anything about any of these, let me know, and I'm pretty good about getting back to you. Okay, and then this one is share. It just says share on the tag, so that's what we're going with. Whoops. Oh, I think I put the tea bags inside of this one. So here's the ruffle on this one. And then the bow is also on, made out of satin. And then here's the tags. And of course the snippet roll. So if you don't know what a snippet roll is, basically it's just like a bunch of like scraps and stuff like that are all stitched onto like a heavy piece of fabric, and you can cut it apart and use the little bits and pieces in your projects. Sorry, I needed a sip of coffee. All right. Oh yeah, see, here's the tea bags in this one. I just stuck them in the pocket. Okay. So this is share. Let's see if I can put this back together in a graceful manner. One second. There, that looks prettier. Okay. And this one doesn't actually have a name on it, so let's see. What should we call this one? We'll just call this one Monarch Butterfly. Or Vintage Monarch. How about that? That's what we'll call it. Vintage Monarch. Okay. So here's the snippet roll, and then the ruffle, and a little tiny satin ribbon on this one. Or bow, I should say, on this one. And there's the tea bags. And then here's what the cover looks like on this one. Oops. I'm going to go ahead and attach this one to the snippet also. I really like the colors in this one for some reason. I just think they all work together really well. The pink and green and the orange, it kind of gets picked up. I don't know. I love how that happens, like accidentally. Look at how much stuff is coming off of those snippet rolls. Okay, so this one is Live Simply. Everything's attached to the snippet roll on this one. So here's the ruffle. It's folded in half and then pinned on. And then the bow is right there. So, and there's the tags, the postage stamp. And then the little tea bags. So here's the cover on this one. I just love these. They're so fluffy and, I don't know, just fluffy and yummy. So I think I'm going to make something really similar for the faux flow journals that I need to make and get shipped out within the next like 3 days. Because I've already received mine for my swaps and I have to put 3 together. But I have all this. I think I have all this stuff all put aside, so it should be okay. So this one is called Think. And so here's the ruffle on this one. It's some really pretty satin fabric. And then there's a little bow with a snippet, and then there's your tags. And the tea bags. Ooh, that pretty parrot. Everything is, sorry about the noise, you guys. That's my dog making weird noises. I don't know what's wrong with her. Well, I do know what's wrong with her. She's getting old, but I don't know what she's doing over there. So sorry about the weird noises. Okay, just a few more. I'm glad I already had made this video once and I just kind of flipped through them really quick. But I'm glad that I decided to do it again and just kind of, I don't know, put a little bit more time into it. I put a solid 2 weeks or so into making these, so I figure they deserve a detailed video. So this one is called Dreamer. And then, so here's the little ruffle on this one and the bow. And then there's your tags and the snippet roll with the tea bags. So there's the bird on this one. Oops, little piece of lace, a little butterfly and stuff. Oh, I forgot. I should have showed you guys the backs of these because I actually did do some like collaging on the backs too. They're pretty sturdy little books, you know. Especially since doing the decoupage on them. They just feel a little bit sturdier after I did that. Okay, so that's Dreamer. 3 more. Okay, so this one is Friendship. So it's got a little like checkered, I guess gingham ruffle, and then the little satin bow on here, and then here's your tags on this one, and the tea bags. So there's your snippet roll too. It's so pretty. I just love that. It's so fun to make too. Okay, and then here's the bird on the front of this one, and there's some like really old vintage like handwriting and stuff in these, like all kinds of just weird random vintage ephemera, you know, that's mostly been torn into little pieces. So I know so when I take photos for these, I will make sure and pull out the tags so that, you know, you can see the tags a little bit better. This one is actually a pocket, so. And then I did do like a floating pocket type of thing and put one of these in each one. This is made out of one of those expandable files. I love that paper. I just love the paper in those things. So. It's funny, whenever I do one of these, kind of like a series of books or whatever, I think I tie and untie them at least 6 or 7 times. Like every time. It's really funny. I get pretty fast at tying them and untying them. Okay. So this one, we're going to call, what are we going to call this one? I'm going to call this one Hard to Untie. There we go. This one doesn't have a name either. So we'll call this one, I don't know. What am I going to call this one? Well, I'll think of something. Anyways, it's got the tile on the front has like a little lock, like a skeleton key would fit into, you know. So I'll call it like, I don't know, mixed media with lock or something like that. So it's got the little like gingham ruffle and then your bow, and then there's the little tiles and the tea bags. I might just go ahead and stick the tea bags inside on all of these. I don't know. And it's got a smaller bird, but I really like the collage on this one too. The old bingo card. And there's the back. So you can see the gauze. I love the texture of that. It's so cool. I got about a dozen rolls of that gauze at a garage sale or an estate sale, and I can't stop using it. And now pretty soon I'm going to start hoarding it because I only have like 6 rolls left. Okay, so this one, I don't know what I'm going to call it, but it'll be like Unknown Lock or something like that. Okay, and this one is called Look Around. And show you close up. It's the last one, guys. So there's the little ruffle. It's just some really old cotton fabric. And then a bow with really long tails. And then here's the tags for this one. Oh, my stomach's growling. Okay, and then here is there's actually 2 birds on this one. So, yeah, and lots of little flowers and a paper butterfly. So, okay, so I will get these photographed and I'll have them listed tonight. It's about 8:30 my time. That's Pacific Standard Time. So, well, right now as I'm talking, but by the time this video uploads, it'll probably be like 9:30. So, give me until about midnight or so, and I should have them all up. I do have another video that I want to shoot. It's a haul video from Roxy Creations. So, look out for that too. I'll probably upload both of them tonight. And then also my Happy Mail that I got. It was one of my the Faux Flow swap journals that I got in the mail yesterday. So, okay. So if you guys have any questions or anything at all that you want to say about any of this stuff, just leave it in the comments. And give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video or if you like what you see in the video. And then if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button if you want to see more like this, or if you'd like to join in on my live stream on Sundays and Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Pacific time. We have a really good time. We just kind of hang out and craft together, and the live streams are really fun. It's a good way for people to just kind of interact with each other, and maybe not even necessarily interact with me, but to interact with each other, you know, the people that you see commenting on the videos and other people in the Facebook group and that kind of stuff. So it's just kind of a cool little like social hour, you know. And as I'm working on whatever I'm working on at that time. So So if you subscribe, hit the little bell too, the little notification bell, and that way you'll get a message whenever I go live, and all you have to do is click on the notification. It'll take you right to the live stream. So it's kind of fun. So I would love to see you there. And, you know, share the video with anybody that you think, you know, would like what you're seeing, you know, the products that I'm showing you, or any of my other videos. So, all right, you guys, I'll quit blabbering, and take care. Stay out of trouble. I love you. Bye for now.